Now this is gaming. You ever play a game and say,
yeah, no, this sucks. I can make something better than the devs.
Game development can be hard. You need money, a team, developers, resources, ideas, talent, a vision, passion, and also time. A lot goes into making a fun video game. It's how this whole thing works, and it can be a stressful process because of deadlines or simply the team just not having enough resources to complete their full vision. But even with those obstacles, thankfully though, most of the time, dev teams usually end up having all those qualities perfectly and end up putting out great experiences for us to enjoy. And because of these great games that are put out there, people that will end up playing these games might get a little inspiration and try to make a game of their own. But when they'll want to do that, they might run into one small little problem.
Hey Dad, what does a blue screen mean?
So what do you do if you don't have a powerful PC to make your own game? Well then say hello to the world of game creation games, ladies and gentlemen. Basically these games give you the ability to make your own game at will, but instead of being on a PC, you can do it on your own console, in your house, on the couch, with your dog, next to your spouse, in your lovely living room house, wherever they're going with this. With these game creation games, you can do a good amount with them. There may not be a lot of these game creation games out there, and some of them aren't really super free with what you can do in them, but with that said, there is a good number of game creation games that are out there and that are very well known and loved, some still being used to this very day. So I figured why not take a look at some of the game creation games from over the years and go over what all has come from them and just check out how cool they can be. So to start us off, let's get started with one that just about everybody knows.
It's the fucking
Back in 2015 for the Wii U, Nintendo would launch one of the best games to come from this era, being Super Mario Maker. This game pretty much says it all in the title, where you, the player, get to make your own Mario Maker level to play. You can make it as boring as you want, or as chaotic as you want. The choice is yours! Mario Maker sold somewhat well back then on the Wii U, selling 500,000 units by the end of launch month being in September of 2015. Also helped pushing Wii U sales because this game also had a Wii U bundle as well. So that was a pretty decent strategy, Nintendo, but unfortunately it didn't work for this thing, didn't it? So when people got their hands on Mario Maker back then, you can imagine the amount of creativity that some people's brains got to work with when playing this game. And got to work they certainly did, because a lot of players would go crazy with their levels, and many people would get to see these levels too, because you could upload your levels to where people on other consoles throughout the world could get a chance to play it. This game was a great idea from the start if it wasn't obvious. I remember the day me and my sister got this game back in 2015. We were both really excited to play this new Mario game, mainly because we'd see it at the mall all the time on a TV display showing the trailer back then. Heck, I remember the day me and my family saw that kiosk display, and my dad pointed out that what you do in this game is that you make your own Mario level, and it looked so cool to all of us. So of course when it came out back then, I played it a lot myself, and made quite a number of worlds with this game. Here, I'll show you. Okay, never mind, none of them got saved. Alright, that's totally not sad. But even though I didn't make the most levels in this game as a kid, many people who own this game has, and the creativity on them all is outstanding. In the Streamlined Mario campaign, there's levels in here that are built from the devs themselves for you to try out. That is so cool. Mario Maker is by far one of the most iconic make-your-own games out there. Sure, you aren't really making a fully fledged video game, but you are making your own level to one of the most iconic not just platformers, but video game characters of all time. This game's success would allow this game to be played for many years, and even so much that in 2019, Nintendo would release a sequel to the game being Mario Maker 2. A very creative name. And this game, while may not have the same feel as the first one, the content that's in this one is a whole ton of fun with many different customization options and a lot more tools for you to make crazy more level mods with this one.
But these games are more on the level of make your own level instead of an actual full game. So where can we go where you can actually make a full game of your own?
Well, one good place to start when it comes to making your own games is the Little Big Planet series. This franchise is very iconic with its fun, creative game building tools and its iconic character, Sackboy. The Little Big Planet games have been around for quite a while, getting 3 titles altogether, with a few spin-off games as well, like a kart racer for Sackboy. Little Big Planet is kind of like Mario Maker, but with more freedom and,
Alright, look, I'm gonna be fully honest with you guys. I have literally no experience with this series at all whatsoever. In fact, this is the only game from this series that I actually own, and the reason why I have little to no experience with this franchise is actually a pretty funny story. Well, you see, it all started back in 2023 when one day... Uh-oh.
While I may have never played the first 2 Little Big Planet games on the PS3, I have heard great things about them. From what I've heard many say, it's a fantastic series with great tools to make amazing games within it. I wish I could have played these games, but unfortunately, like I said, PS3 bricked on me. So playing games on my PS3 is on a bit of a pause right now.
I just want to play you!
But moving on to another kind of game where you can make your own games, and this takes it to another level, is Nintendo's very own Game Builder Garage. Game Builder Garage is Nintendo's attempt at trying to get into the game creation scene. Emphasis on the attempt because my goodness, this game is, oh boy, this is a thing that existed.
I won't even lie, I forgot this game even existed until I wanted to make this video.
So Game Builder Garage is where we enter a new territory when it comes to game creation games, as pretty much in this game, you are more free to do as you please and make whatever game you'd like, with the tools presented here, whether it's a 2D game or a 3D game. And as much as I'd really love to showcase some games that were made by very talented people here in this video today, I ran into one tiny little problem. So, to segue this part, ladies and gentlemen, I should probably make a videos on tutorials and if they're annoying or not, because this game definitely would be in the very annoying category, I think. The reason why this would be a great example of very terrible is because you can't play the game till you get past all of this! Okay, look, I get it, okay? This is a game about making your own game from the ground up, and you want to show people how it works, like making stuff, like making buttons do stuff, or how to do this or that. I get it, okay? But at least let me have the option to go browse and play other people's games off the rip if I don't want to learn how to make my own game.
So just because the tutorial is extremely long on this thing, does that mean it's bad? Not so, actually. Going past the big tutorial, apparently there's some pretty cool stuff on this thing. But I don't feel like checking that out because of that tutorial, so instead I'm gonna search the interweb to see what I can find on there because I'm not playing through all that, sorry.
So how are the games on Game Builder Garage? Well, looking past that horribly mandatory tutorial...
And look, the reason why I'm not even gonna bother trying to is because I'm way too employed to care, so no, we're not doing that, okay? Back to the video.
The games on here actually look pretty fun, and if you really want to get through all of this and play these games, definitely give it a try if you want to. It is pretty cool to see all the talented people manage to make a good amount of games for people to play on here for this game. Even a number of fan games of existing franchises are on here too. Overall, for this being on the Switch, a lot of it is still very impressive that people managed to put together. But if you want the game creation game that allows you to go crazy with creativity and make a lot of stuff from the ground up, then do I have quite the suggestion for you.
1, 2, 3.
Releasing February 2020, and made by the same people who made Little Big Planet, Dreams would launch exclusively on the PlayStation 4 and would not only entertain me and my bro for hours during the 2020 pandemic, but would also be home to by far one of the greatest not only game creation games to ever exist, but would be one of the best games to ever release in my opinion. Dreams is the dictionary definition of making your own game. Well, the game. Heck, it is literally called Dreams. Let your imagination run wild. Create your dream game that you've always thought of in the back of your head that you always wanted to make. That was the goal when the devs started to make this game all those years ago. Dreams was announced quite a while back alongside the PlayStation 4 in 2013. But due to troubled development, it got delayed a number of times. But in 2020, it finally released on the PS4, now playable on the PS5, and many games are getting made with the PS5 in mind, and talented devs are still letting their imagination run wild like intended.
To give you guys a bit of an idea of what is out there on Dreams and available for you to play on here, let me just go ahead and run this little idea through real fast. Do you ever just sit up late at night and just say, what if Wario had a war flashback?
The amount of creative freedom in these games are literally insane. So many random and creative unique games people make is just so cool and very fun to play. From a car driving simulator to a cooking simulator, breaking literal art as therapy, and this poor guy who just wants a hug, somebody give him one please! Two other fantastic games that have come from Dreams are the normal blank lineup of games. So just the two. These games are very nice and definitely offer a good amount of nostalgia here and there too, with some pure horror thrown in there as well. Sometimes it's not even just random games people make. Sometimes people can just straight up make a mini movie with this too. While some of them are very short and just kind of little funny bits, they're still pretty funny to watch. There's a lot of funny meme type videos I've seen from here, from the most random stuff ever, a number of Wario related things for some reason, and also the one and only Oh Hi Mark recreations from back then. When I tell you there were a lot of these, there was a lot, but they were really funny and ranged from ragdolling up against a rooftop wall to pure mental scarring onto the street. The amount of content on Dreams was and is insane, with so many games to play that can keep you entertained for many hours. Not only just random games people thought of, and also movies and showcases as well, but much like with Game Builder Garage and game making on PC, many talented devs have taken original IPs and made fan games for them here on Dreams. One of the biggest highlights of them are the Mario ones. You get to play Mario with a PlayStation controller. How cool is that? Mario is definitely a weird case here on Dreams, and what I mean by that is that the fan games that are on here are the ones that managed to stay up and weren't taken down by Nintendo, that is. There's been a few Mario games on here that were pretty good, like there's a 3D Mario game that was pretty decent in the early years of Dreams, but in retrospect, it definitely controls kind of wonky, especially compared to how much Dreams has gotten more polished over the years. Also, a remake of the Mario 64 Princess Peach Castle too, but then you can't go inside the doors because I guess implementing levels was too much of an idea, I guess. And those are pretty much most of the 3D ones that managed to stay up and not get taken down by Nintendo. But there is actually actually one game on here that I found recently that's based off of the new Super series, and this one is very nice and really worth your time. This game is by far one of the best Mario Dream games on there. Again, you can definitely see the Super Mario Bros. Wonder and new Super series influence here, but it is really nice and very fun. Check it out if you can. So I'm going to stop talking about this game now, that way Nintendo doesn't find this video and take this down, because this game has definitely had a lot of effort put into it. Definitely check it out if you can. And not just Mario, other franchises have been represented here too. Like, I found a Crash Bandicoot game on here that is really darn good and recreated perfectly here. And all of this was made by one person. Huge props to you. Very nice work at recreating Crash's gameplay and level design perfectly. I honestly forgot that I was playing a game on Dreams. That's how good this was. This game is really fun. Definitely check it out. Except this guy, Shaw of 10, he's not going to check it out because he hates Crash Bandicoot for some reason.
Well, you see, SuperCon, Crash Bandicoot's a homeless bum!
Not only that, I even found some God of War games too that attempt to recreate Kratos' iconic gameplay from the original trilogy. Some were a little rough here and there because it was kind of hard to recreate Kratos' Blade gameplay, but there was one that managed to prove itself pretty darn good in terms of the gameplay scene, and after playing around with it, I've come to the conclusion this is truly one of the best Dream games I've ever played. 10 out of 10, perfect score.
Eat your heart out, Santa Monica.
Also, since we're talking about Dream fan games, we have to take a minute to stop and talk about the Sonic fan games of Dreams too. This piece of Dreams here is what really is keeping the game out there to this very day, at least in the Sonic fandom. When Dreams first came out in 2020, talented Sonic fans got their hands on it and got to work to make some really fun games on here over the years. There have been a lot of attempts to recreate Sonic's gameplay on here perfectly over the years, but with all the ones that are out there, there are two of them out here, in my opinion, being the ones that definitely have gotten it right, and by far are the definitive ones when it comes to playing Sonic fan games on Dreams, and this is at least in my opinion. The first one being Sonic Adventure Dreams Edition and Sonic Venture. These two have the most content and polish by far. No disrespect to the other devs on the other games out there, of course, but these games have whole teams behind them, and the other ones are usually made by one person or a few, and if it wasn't for these fan games, I wouldn't have been able to find out why I love the Sonic franchise again, because when I first played these games, I was really done with the Sonic franchise because I had nothing to offer anymore. But when my friend showed me Dreams and I played these Sonic fan games on Dreams, thanks to the fans that made these wonderful fan games on here, it made me remember why I love the Sonic franchise and how fun the Sonic gameplay can be. Huge shout out to the devs of Sonic Venture and Sonic Adventure Dreams Edition. You guys have managed to make an amazing Sonic fan experience on Dreams. Truly, if you have Dreams, check out these fan games. Even if you're not a Sonic fan, I think you're definitely in for a good time. The Sonic fan games here truly are something else and show just how far Dreams can go with its game development and tools. I think you can get the idea. Dreams is by far the game creation game out there when it comes to this whole thing. The talent and passion in some of these games are truly remarkable. From the talented people making these, or people making a fun little simple game, and just having fun. That's mainly the goal with this game entirely. If you have a PS4 or PS5, please check out Dreams. It's literally 20 bucks if that's still. Truly, this game is one of the best games to ever exist. Alright, try saying that about The Last of Us. Game creation games are truly a great piece of games that exists in the world of different game genres. While they may not have a big impacting emotional story or anything crazy like other games, the goal with them is to simply have fun. Also allow players and upcoming devs a chance to show and test their abilities along with their ideas they have for a game, or take an existing franchise like Mario or Sonic and make a fan game from those two and put their own little spin on it. That's the true epicness right there with game creation games, the creativity that comes with them. With each game creation game that gets released, talented people always manage to get their hands on them and go on to make something awesome within them, whether a funny game in Dreams or something cool in Little Big Planet, or making the most impossible Mario Maker level to ever exist. No matter what game it is, there will always be people that will show off the creativity of game creation games and show what exactly they are indeed capable of.
If you happen to have access to any of these games in particular, I would definitely give these a try if you've been intrigued from any of these from today's video. These are really worth your time, and again, they are very fun with what you can do in these games. Give them a try if you haven't already. Anyways, happy creating, everybody, if you do pick up one of these games. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Hit her. It's not true.
Sometimes